Hey, YouTubers, more Rob Mavitt. Guys, this is going to be a cool video. I was going to do a video solely on inexpensive, low-cost proteins for seniors because as people get older, they need more protein because their bodies don't absorb protein as much, so they need to eat more. And I was thinking to have about a dozen low-cost protein sources that I use all the time. But as more I thought about it, the way the inflation has gone up so much lately, it isn't just seniors that need low-cost protein source. I think it's everybody. It's going crazy. So the last 10 years, I've eaten very little meat. I eat mostly fish, occasionally some chicken or some liver. Basically, it's fish or non-meat for protein. So I thought I'd go over the stuff I incorporate into my diet. Uh, no order of importance, just as from left to right, or we'll see how it goes. From the top of the list, we've got cottage cheese, a very good protein source, and it's fairly inexpensive. And what I like to do is often is I'll wrap it up into a little corn tortilla or the fajita or the wheat fajita. These are very good ways to uh, make meals inexpensively. People have been doing it for centuries, and it's you can add things to the pita or the fajita and make a really scrumptious meal inexpensively that way. You've got tofu. A lot of people do not like tofu. I found that if I freeze it, the extra firm, and then squeeze out the water, marinate it, and then coat it in some cornmeal and put it in a panini grill. I make little strips of the tofu and then I store it in the refrigerator. And then during the week, I can add it to different food I'm making, or also wrap it up in a corn tortilla. Put it with some cheese on the little microwave dish I have here. And what I do is I put that into the microwave for about 60 seconds and it melts the cheese and any other ingredients I have with the tofu. And then I fold it over and let it sit and cool off, and then it makes a really nice little snack. If you have enough of them, you can make a meal. We've got canned seafood that is one of my popular things to eat. Many people have tuna. I find the clams make a really interesting meal with these low-cost macaroni and cheese. You put in the clams, some spices, and you have a delicious little clam macaroni and cheese meal. Beans are a central part of my diet. I like to make a big pot of beans using my pressure cooker. I soak the beans overnight, then make a pressure cooker bean soup with vegetables, and during the week I'll have that as part of my lunch. And sometimes I don't feel like cooking. I'll just open up a can of beans, and they're full of protein, very inexpensive, and very handy, and you can do different things with them. Um, like I said, the cornmeal mix. Sometimes I'll make some cornbread and have cornbread and beans. Beans and cornbread, that's a all time favorite. Chunk chub mackerel. I've got about a half a dozen videos on my channel on how to make delicious meals with chub mackerel. Primary, that's easiest, cheapest, and the best way is just to drain it, add some Italian dressing, and then coat it with some cornmeal mix. And then how I do that is I always like to use an empty uh, container from cottage cheese or yogurt and then just twirl it around with the cornmeal and it coats it evenly, put it on a panini grill, and then I grill it for 15 minutes. It makes like my own little fish sticks from the mackerel. With a salmon, I just like to add mayonnaise and celery and seasoning and make a sandwich spread and have it during the week on my fajitas or my pita bread. You've got yogurt. It's like a wonderful dessert, but you can also add it to salads and things. I have some protein powder that I make a shake every evening that I make with blueberries. The reason I do it in the evening is because I have some milk in the powdered milk in the morning, and milk has something in it that keeps you from absorbing the nutrients that are in the blueberry. So I have uh, a blueberry shake every evening, and there's just a tiny bit of protein powder in it. Then you've got the king of them all is you got to have a little cheese, cheese. Cheese makes everything taste better. Um, and that's cheddar, but you can also get mozzarella, whatever you like. Um, now, what's in here? Oh, this is a sandwich spread I make out of the chickpeas, which are one of my favorites. When growing up, we never ate chickpeas or garbanzo beans. I don't think, but before I turned 30, I don't think I ever had one. Um, I like to use cans, or even better, I soak these. You don't need to soak them, but I do. I soak them overnight. Next day, I cook them for 10 minutes in a pressure cooker, and I end up making a little sandwich spread. Or there's so many different things you can make with the chickpeas. It's a really inexpensive, one of the probably the best bargain out of all the things I'm going to be showing you are the chickpeas. Also, for some people, they like the green peas. I don't like them as much. And the lentils also make a really good meal. You can add different vegetables and so on. And but overall, I like the chickpeas best. Then you've got eggs. I said cheese was the king. Maybe eggs are the queen. I don't know. They're pretty good. They're pretty far up there. For years, they said eggs were good for you. Then they said they were bad for you. Then they said they were good for you. Then they said they're bad. So I don't know if they're good for you or bad for you, but I think there's no other food source that has the amount of nutrients that eggs do. Um, Peanut butter. I have a big tablespoon of peanut butter with my cod liver oil every single morning, and it helps the cod liver oil go down. There's lots of protein in there. Um, you can also get one of these. I don't eat very much meat, and when I do, I like to eat something like this, calf liver, because there's more nutrient. It's more nutrient dense than almost any other food. And I made a video. I actually have 3 videos on cooking liver. The best one is when I just cook it frozen. It's very no fuss, no muss, simple way to cook it. I haven't seen anybody else do it that way, and it's the least troublesome way of cooking liver I've ever come across. I did have one video where I made liver, and it was kind of complicated and it was kind of sad. It was the last video I made right before I had my heart operation. I thought it might be my last video, and it was very the most melancholy liver cooking video on YouTube. But the other one where I cooked it frozen, I recommend it. I'll leave a link to it. Um, but also, we have this thing over here. I haven't used in years, but I'm thinking about starting again. This is a soy milk maker. When I made the soy milk out of the soybeans, which by the way aren't that cheap, it didn't make the same milk flavor as you buy in the store because they had a lot of sugar and other things to their soy milk. But I'm thinking about trying to get into that again because I think soy is pretty good for you. I don't care what to say. Um, I'm leaving something out, I'm sure. Boom, 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 boom. Well, I also have like the seeds and the nuts, um, the walnuts and the sunflower seeds, and the chia seeds, but they're not like a big primary source like the other things are, like the eggs and the beans and the chickpeas and so on. So I think if you're trying to cook and not spend a lot of money on meat, you might start picking one thing and then just seeing how you can cook it in a way that is most pleasing to you, and then move on to something else and add and increase your repertoire of things you can cook other than meat for your protein. And little by little, you'll get things that are you're comfortable with and you're happy how they taste. And it's a journey, you know. I think we're going to have to keep flexible as time goes because I think things are going to keep getting more expensive and uh, I think the future is going to be very interesting, and we just want to be flexible and keep our options open and trying different things. So, guys, I hope this was helpful to you, and leave your comments about what things you've been experimenting with to reduce the amount of money you spend on the food that gives you a lot of protein. Oh, I forgot there was one. Wait, I knew there was one. For the last 30 years, maybe last 40 years, I have oats in the morning with fruit and nuts and seeds and so on. and I put on like about a half of a cup of powdered milk that I make up about once a week. And it's very good source of protein, and it's a good source of calcium and so on. I get this from the Mormons, the site that sells me the beans and so on. These packages are good for 20 years. So yeah, it's a very good source of protein and other nutrients. So there was something amongst all these foods to upset and disagree with almost everybody, because everybody has their own dietary beliefs and so on. So I know somebody's going to be saying no on some of these, maybe most of them. I know I know Mr. Al Freeman is probably watching right now saying he just eats slices of beef. So this is all garbage. But it's working for me. So hope this is helpful to you, and I'll stop rambling now, and you'll take care and see you out there.